Racism is deeply embedded in UK culture of construction. They'll tell you you need some thick skin to be able to get into this construction business. You might say to yourself, what can I do to change people's racist views upon someone else who is black or brown, right?
A few moments later.
Nothing. They got to change themselves. The story can be told time and time again. We can see the proof within the police force, the structure of work, the tree of command, the stories who people who have lived it, who have went through it, who still go through it now, who underprice themselves, undervalue themselves because they are another race, but they have the experience. The difference is that the people who they want to put on the pedestal don't look like you. That's the reality. The amount of times that I've been to jobs and you're overly qualified for the role, but you won't get it because you don't fit their criteria. You don't fit the look what they're going for. The company doesn't want someone like yourself to represent themselves. When you ask any British construction company, what training have you had on inclusion, including different races? They can say this, which is fucking nothing. How do you get past that? Do you start bringing in bits of chicken, what your mum's cooked? Do you start bringing in your cultural food into the canteen so it can stink out the room if it's flavoursome? Someone might be like, what is that smell? It's onions. What is that smell? It's garlic. Oh, I don't like spicy food. You don't like spicy food, but you eat Indian food. Okay. There is always going to be this, which is brown, black people, white people, yeah? This country is a white country. I don't feel that during my time in being on this earth, if I choose to stay in UK, that things are going to change in any type of way. The news, people at BBC, they push the narrative between people. They'll be explaining a group of young black men and call them thugs. They'll be explaining a group of young white males who smash up somewhere like Spain or smash up somewhere on a little football holiday and say a group of boys. They're both boys. But one will be labelled with a certain stigma and others will be fighting a stigma from what other people have done. If you say you was from Jamaica, they want to say, oh, are you a yardie? Yardie, seriously. Your parents might be from Jamaica, but they're still calling you a yardie today. You've never been to Jamaica, for fuck's sake. How do you get away from this narrative which is pushed and perpetuated to be able to block people out? I've never known the answers to it, and I've been in construction 21 years. I've seen it through and through. I've seen it time and time again. I've been to workplaces within the construction industry and saw loads of black people and said, oh, this might be all right. But all of the black people are workers. The supervisor, the manager, the director, all white people. Again, some black people have just said, I'm just going to get along with it. And I'm going to turn a blind eye because I can't see it and I need my bills paid. Understandable. But there are a different generation who are coming up who see what is in their face and say, no, thank you. We can't be doing that. I'll flip out. I will lose it if somebody talks to me like that. I cannot be a part of that behaviour. And I don't want to do it because they're thinking about their mental health. They're thinking about their future. They're saying to themselves, if I get a new car, if I do something like go on holiday, the job might not be there for me after. Who wants to live life on a fucking piece of string? This ain't a string, but it's a wire. But I think you get the concept. It's long. And the reality is the reality. The truth is the truth. Like, what I've realised is that if people know this is a problem within construction in the UK, why isn't there some type of protection brought in for those people who are going to face that? Or why isn't there any consequences for others? Because they want it to keep happening. They want it to keep happening. That's the truth, and that's the reality. People don't like it when you tell them your reality because they want you to conform to their reality. But we're different when we go through the door. Someone might refer to me as, oh, that's that black plumber. I'm a black plumber. My name is Mr. London Plumber. But I'll be known as someone who is black or brown before I'm known as Mr. London Plumber. Do you get it? The harsh reality hurts people because they're living in their own reality. And until there is a safe place or there's measures in place for people to face consequences on discriminating towards a certain group of people just because the colour of their skin, just because they like to do things culturally, just because others do not treat them with the same respect. It's a hard pill to swallow, but is it worth it? I don't know at the end of the day, because you got to think about your mental point when it comes here, your mental health. To know that this is going through your head, and to know that what I do is the same thing as Tommy, who's white, and when Tommy does it, it's okay, but when I do it, it's a problem. That would show that there's some difference. We've seen the social experiment of Nikos. I put it on my page because I thought it was hilarious. Because when people tell you something, oh, it's not like that, is it? So why do the police have these panorama documentaries where they speak and they say words which lets you know that they are racist? Why is it in my time I've seen Stephen Lawrence's case, which was nothing but blatant racism, up and down, side to side, and no one still ain't went to jail? That's society. And whatever's in society is going to rub off in the working world. Someone who has a dad who calls brown and black people certain names, their son's going to pick up on that. My dad says that, so it's alright. Do you get it? So we're not doing nothing new here. We're doing something old, which keeps on getting recycled. But how do we protect the future? The future is only going to break off and make its own separate ways. I've heard so many times that we need to get more black and brown people into construction. But if we still feel the wrath of things which happened years ago, what are we doing there? What are we doing there? You know, my grandma, yeah, my gran come to England on Windrush, yeah? What they said on Windrush is that we need skilled trades people. My granddad was a carpenter, skilled trades person. That's how he was able to come into England. Do you get it? But society would have told him a long time ago that, after he's done his work, they would have told him, you didn't contribute. So how did stuff get built up after the war and things like that? Do you get it? There might have been statues or things which were commemorating, like we have in Brixton, towards people who are black people who have been in the war and stuff like that. They want to take them down. So when someone does something like inspirational for black culture while contributing towards a construction scheme or industry, where's that? Where's the applaud? It's not there. when I've done videos, what it's like to work as a black man on a 9 to 5, I get people, boom, it's not like that, it's not like this, it's not like that. Those people are speaking from their own experience, and they're also white people as well. Why is it you want to dim the light on someone telling their truth, their own truth? It's not your truth. You can't be the person who tells them not to say something. There's this freedom of speech. There's this understanding of you haven't lived the same life as them. So what gives you the right to speak over them and dim their light? What? There's no reason. The reality is the reality, and the truth is the truth. I know people don't like to admit it. People don't even like to speak about things which make them feel uncomfortable, because in their head, we all get along. I got black mates. They're cool. You're not like my other black... Who cares? Do you think a lot of the majority of black and brown, whether they be from Caribbean, African, Indian, tell people I got white mates? I heard I got black mates from someone, I think he lives in Surrey, Kent, like the degenerate area. And I knew, no, he must live somewhere near Crystal Palace, sorry, because that's what football team he supports. I knew that he was like that from the jump, because I could tell from his persona, because inside the workplace, me as a supervisor, I wasn't to overstep and ask him questions or tell him things which I know. I was to mind my position and not speak up when it comes to certain things. But that's not me. That's not who I am. That's not how I've been raised as a person. As a person, I'm raised to be able to speak about things, what I'm educated on or what I know. Things what I don't know, I'd rather be quiet. It's not because of anything in particular. It's just because of the sole point of me not knowing. So I've had white teachers. I've had Greek teachers. I didn't look at them and say, how do you fucking know this? How do you not know that? I went to school at a time where they played Kunta Kinte. And if you know about that story, yeah, it's so deep that after them classes at RE, yeah, me personally, I just couldn't talk. I was clammed up because it was impactful. That story is deep. They probably had to stop showing that story in school now. They won't show it to young kids because that's what kind of happened. That's what kind of happened with them playing it down. Do you get it? And those people know who were in power or who have been in power within slavery, within oppressing people, within holding people down just because they're a group of people, because that's what racism is. They might be worried about a few things, a peripheral of things. What are they going to do to us if they ever get in power? Why do they feel so aggressive towards us? Why have we got to dominate them? It's just a question, you know. But all of these thoughts and ideas are brought into the workplace. You know, someone sees someone black listening to music, they're officially, or they're assuming they're listening to rap music. They're assuming that they listen to this. Oh, you listen to all that gang stuff, all the drill stuff, innit? No, I'm listening to fucking Sade. No, I'm listening to Bon Jovi. But the narrative about certain people within the construction industry will never be debunked. You know, when I do some videos, yeah, I really try and do stuff with research because I care about people understanding and knowing. You know, I don't see much point in me watching a video and not learning anything from it. I've learned over last year and this year, young black kids, young black and brown kids, they be going to sites and people be calling you the N-word and saying it's banter. Oh, if you can't take the banter, don't be on site. I come from a time and an era where someone called you that, you just lay them down. Simple. There's no going back and forward with them. That's disrespect. That has never been a joke. That's not something most black people joke with each other about. It's a derogatory word. I don't use that word. That's why I said the N-word. You can search it up by Google. Meaning of the word. Who said it? Why people say it. It's to bring people down. It's never a lifting up thing. That's why it's not even part of my vocabulary. But the reality is that I know that some people talk like that when they're in the pub. And I say when they're in the pub because who's in the fucking pub? I say that because when I watch football socially, when I did, people was making monkey chants. How do I know these things? Because I've been there. I've been at football games. One of my friends, I've got a few friends who are professional football players. You know, and I even asked my dad at one point, why you go to them football matches if them people call them people monkeys? He said, for true, they do. And he doesn't really go there no more. It's not because of that. It's because the season tickets went up. And Arsenal don't win nothing. That's why. But all of these things, what happen socially outside, are definitely an influence on what happens inside the workplace. Like when we was just talking about the parents who openly say derogatory things about black and brown people in their own home. What someone says in their own home only gets perpetuated and starts to be a cultural thing, so their kids pick up on it and they feel it's okay. But they might not have any black friends, brown friends growing up. Oh, I thought it was alright. I thought that everybody says that. Everybody like who? Everybody like your mum and your dad? No, it's just your mum and your dad who says that. But we're trying to change the narrative. And there are some people who are black who probably never go through stuff like this. And there's a big majority of people who do. And the people who don't go through it, you don't know who's saying that about you behind your back. Oh, Steve's alright. He's a black guy. He's cool. He's one of the geezers. I've said to you before that we've got many coconuts. Many Uncle Toms. I've got an uncle that's like that. Feeling like he feels like he is the successful black man because he moves around just white people. He's a black man who can move in them circles. He lives out in Bedford and that's what he does. Me and him don't speak no more. That's why I can talk shit about him. Do you get it? I never have. And he works in construction. How about that? And that's someone who I've grown up with. It's only when I've got to a certain age and I've kind of studied his behaviour, I've realised, rah, I didn't know you was like that. Makes sense though. This is the way you move. The reason why you've never tried to give someone else a chance who's like you is because you want to be the only black man in the village that is chatting with the white people, which is, it's okay, man. You know, your choice is your choice. But culturally, we don't get along. That's why we don't speak. He could see this video and guess what? I wouldn't give a fuck. I wouldn't care. I'm just telling the truth. Because when you break down race and respect, reality has to come into it, whether you like it or not. And that's that. Sorry, someone's calling my PC. 1 second. Let me just cancel this. So it's just a hard pill to swallow when We don't always know the outcome, but we want to make it a better future for our next generation. So we need to build things in place to protect them. Because growing up, I never had any protection. I'm going to sites, people are doing little mockery jokes. But you got to remember, for me personally, I weigh 110 kilos and I am 6'2". I'm not small. Big guy. Handle myself. I've known not to engage with everybody. And yes, sometimes we do judge people on face value. But when we look at statistics, when we look at 1% of black and brown people are managers within construction and that type of area in the UK, it just says a lot. It says a lot when it comes to inclusion, evolvement. People evolve. But this is a white country. But 1% is ridiculously low. Many times I've thought, do you know what? Just go to a different country and start doing construction. Because it would be a lot better for me. I would be way more successful. And that's my personal take. I feel as if I would. You know, I would much rather go to the Caribbean and get that, because at least I'm not dealing with racism on that side. But I want to know how you lot feel, because I'm speaking from my own personal experiences. I'm not speaking from the hymn book. I'm not speaking from like, oh, let's build up together and let's do this. We've tried to do stuff like that before. When you try and do something once or twice or 3 times, you need to do something different. I think what used to really inspire me back in the day is, I grew up in Tottenham, yeah? So it's a very cultural area. Black, Caribbean, Turkish. It wasn't so much that Turkish and Greek then, but yeah, they have been there in the community, and also white people. Seeing black people collaborate on the construction of Broadwater Farm, there's videos of it on YouTube. For me, it just boom, blew my mind. I'm like, rah, that's sick. That is legendary. But why didn't they keep doing stuff like that? Why wasn't it documented in a broader way? Maybe it was, and maybe I was too young, but I did see it on YouTube, so you can check that out. But for me, that made me think, boom, we've tried to do these things before. Why don't we carry on doing these things? But then again, when I look at some people who have the opportunity to employ other black people and have that influence on them, sometimes they choose the latter, which is to do with skill, maybe to do with where they are at the moment, maybe to do with a lot of other things. I'm not really sure. But I've been a person who will help people, who see people as just people. Anyone who starts seeing people as just races, I just can't fuck with. Point blank. I don't care if you say, oh, he's a good person. There's all these people around them. It's all one group, looks like a gang. To me, it's not for me. But I always want to know what other people think, because I live in today. I live in now. I see things with these eyes. And I listen with these ears. And I know that my voice has an impact when I speak about race when it comes to construction, because I've been in it for so long. You know, I don't work up north. I can only imagine up north is fucking worse, because you got a lot of little rowdy boys. I remember working at a hospital in London. It's where I was born, actually. I was born at Whipps Cross Hospital. And I was doing some site work there, and a young gentleman come in there, and he's from up north, somewhere dumb up north, I can't remember where. Might even have been from Swansea or something stupid like that. Anyway, he goes to me, oh, Do you know Dizzy Rascal? So why would I know Dizzy Rascal? Because he's black. That's the type of mindset or the type of questions people face who are brown and black like myself on construction. People ask you dumb shit. And I just asked him, right, do you know Gary Glitter? Do you? Oh, you don't? Oh, okay. He's like, no, why? I was like, no, just asking, man. Just asking. Because you just asked me something, innit? So I'm just going to ask you something. But to grow up within this industry, it just needs way more of a foundation and a strong point for people to grow from. We ain't really growing from 1% of management and higher up jobs. Because that 1% can get taken down to 0.5 in a flash. And it's not like most of those people who are in that 1% are trying to pass that baton along to others. So I asked you today, as my community, as people who watch my videos, what do you think? Because even though I would like to make a video where I was like, oh, it's not like that, it's like this, da-da-da-da-da. It's not. I can't do that. I never fool my own audience. Because people follow me because I tell the truth. I ask them to subscribe because it helps to build the channel. Because telling the reality builds trust. Telling a narrative is false. That's it. Like, share and subscribe. Drop your comments underneath because I know I unpacked a lot of stuff there. So I would like to know what you lot think. Subscribe!